So when I first saw the trailer for this, I thought, cool, I finally get to see Luke Cage again. Because Netflix, you did Luke wrong. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach the Nerd, and in this episode we are giving a small overview of the CBS series Evil, and that series is a mind beep and I love it. So it'd be really hard to recap all 10 episodes. I think I'm going to start doing episode reviews on this, kind of like my Charm ones and some of the other ones that I've been doing. So I'll wait for it to come back, I believe, at the end of January. But I just wanted to give you an overview of what I liked about the show and why I think you should watch it. So the premise of this show, basically it really is science versus religion, or supernatural versus science. We have a forensic psychologist, Dr. Kristen Burchard, who has 4 daughters. They all have L names. The youngest one, I think, is named Laura, and she has a heart problem, very serious condition. She was working for a company, like a law firm, that hired her out to pretty much debunk people that were lying about illnesses or psychological illnesses. They were kind of buttholes. In one of the court cases, she was noticed by a man named David Acosta, who was a journalist who is now studying to be a priest, and who is also an assessor. He's basically sent out by the church to different, families and different, people who approach the church claiming things like miracles, demonic possessions, and things of that nature. And he wanted Kristen to work with him because she is a forensic psychologist, so she would be able to tell if it's actually something psychological and scientific, or if it really is something supernatural or biblical or miracle or possession. So that's where that starts, but the trailer does not do this show justice. It is absolutely amazing. Like, the characters are amazing. So let's just kind of jump into some of them. So Kristen's husband, Andy, is out climbing Mount Everest. I think he even gives tours to people. So he's gone like half of the year, I guess. So she's at home with the kids, paying off student loans, paying all the bills. Her mother helps out a lot with babysitting, and she's kind of like a free spirit. But she decides to take the job for money reasons, honestly, because she needed a job. And plus, she really only tells the truth. She doesn't believe in anything supernatural, spiritual. She is a scientist, basically. So her and David, and then his contractor, Ben Shahir, I can't remember if it's Shahir or Shakir. He is the technology specialist, so he's good with computers and all technology. They go out kind of like in Ghostbuster, Ghost Hunter style, and kind of either validate or debunk what's happening. The problem is, some of them are so hard to tell because there's so many things that happen in these episodes that could be kind of 50-50 both ways. We've had possessions where the people that were supposedly possessed, that they were trying to debunk, or in the middle of even having an exorcism by the church that they bring Kristen in to evaluate, she's spewing out information not only about David, but about Kristen that there's no way she could possibly know. Like, she couldn't know any of this stuff. This is not something you can find in a background check or Google. It's like day-to-day stuff that she was like spewing out of her mouth that no one, that probably not even each other as colleagues know about each other. So that, you're kind of like, okay. But then there's other instances where you have a young boy who's a sociopath who claims to be demonically possessed, and the parents end up taking him out pretty much because he tried to drown their baby and they couldn't handle it. So they ended up taking out the kid. And it's like that in itself is a form of evil. So you have the science, psychological evil, and then you have potentially the supernatural religious evil, all going on simultaneously in the same show. There is a character who embodies everything evil, and it is Dr. Townsend. And Dr. Townsend is, I think, the embodiment of Satan. He hates people who feel like they can't or are not capable of sinning. And he's like, his personal mission is to go out and make them sin. That is his mission. It is strange. And he has this crazy fascination with David because David's trying to follow, God and become a priest. And he, for some reason, he can't handle that. And so he does everything he can to sabotage this. Not to mention, David's been getting visions, like visions that have actually come into play or have been brought up by some of the people he's gone out to assess that should not even know he's having these visions. It's like he sees this certain images in his head and people are saying, oh, this is what you think and these visions you're having. And he's like, how do you know about that? So like there's so much going on. There's so much mystery going on in this series that I love. And then there's like these episodes where you start questioning your sanity. It's like, are they? Is this really happening? Like Kristen starts seeing, even from the first episode, an incubus named George, who just seems to always be in her dreams. And she manages to wake up from these dreams, but then her daughter starts seeing the same entity. And she kind of plays it off, oh, it's an imaginary friend, but really it's not. They even had a VR game system where they were seeing this creepy little girl. And even the father was seeing this creepy little girl that all of it seems to be tied in. Either it's Townsend's elaborate psychosis that is putting all of these puzzle pieces together to drive both Kristen and David insane, or some of this stuff is actually evil and it's really happening. There's a Halloween episode with a little girl who isn't a little girl. They invited one little girl to their Halloween sleepover, but the little girl that showed up was not the girl that was supposed to be there. But they didn't even know to the end that was not the little girl. The little girl's mother called and told the grandmother, when the girls apparently had gone out to be brave and walk through the cemetery, that, yeah, the little girl wasn't at the party. She was homesick with the flu. So they go running to the cemetery, and this little girl that they thought was a little girl was trying to convince, some of the girls to lay in a grave where she was basically going to bury them alive. And then she kind of walks off and disappears, and at the end laughing and maniacally, when they get the girls back, and nobody knows who this child was. In a recent episode, there's even a cat. There's this evil-looking cat. It is an evil-looking cat that basically just appears in their laundry room with the door closed. How? How did it get in, and how did it get into a locked or closed door? And it was really fascinated with David's sweater. It's like things like this that just keep happening in this series. It's really well written, and it's such a mind beep. So I love it. I really do. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. They kind of left us on a weird cliffhanger, in the mid-season finale. So I think it comes back in January as well. CBS kind of follows the CW train since they kind of own part of CW. So I think they'll come back in probably maybe the later end of January. But I am excited because the first 10 episodes have blown my mind. I have never been bored at all in this series, and that is saying a lot. So it's on my list with some of my other favorites like Charmed. When Roswell comes back, I love Roswell. L-Word, Generation Q is really starting to pique my interest, like stuff like that. This is definitely on my list of shows you should definitely check out. But don't take my word for it. Let me know what you think. If you have seen this series, tell me what you like about it. If you have seen it and you don't like it, tell me what you don't like. How can they improve it? Leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to know who's next in the nerd ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys. And if you have time, don't forget to check out some of these other videos.